Hello, fellow truthers. This is Barbara Jean. This is not going to be a very long video, at least I hope not. But you'll know before me, and I'll know before you. It's one of those funny little, what's the word? Um, you know, things. Because you'll know when I started this video. When you get the video, you'll know before me as I'm doing the video. But I'll know before you because I'll have finished the video, so I know how long the video is. Make sense? Makes sense. Anyway, just one of those funny little things. Time traveling, so to speak. But anyway, and I think maybe that's what our dreams are really kind of. You're kind of time traveling. We go backwards in time, we go forward in time. God uses dreams to show us things in our past, things that are blockages, as I talked about in my last dream. You know, that block our energy flow. My dog is down here. She's anyway. Hopefully she'll settle. Um, things that can block our energy flow in our lives, and dreams are often sent to show us the future, for instance with Joseph, um, but also show us sometimes our things that are blocking our past, things that are are stumbling blocks, and things like, for instance, in my last video I talked about Grace, and the stumbling block between me and Grace was the um, the stumbling blocks that the Church of Pergamos had thrown in our path to basically, because a lot of people think of Israel as only being Jewish people, but Israel is comprised of more than just Jewish people. Israel, Christ's Israel, the olive tree Israel, not the fig tree Israel, but the olive tree Israel, is made up of both Jew and Gentile. We are all part of the body of Israel. And so the pagan church, the Church of Pergamos, as I was talking about in my last dream, had thrown a stumbling block before the children of Israel. Okay, we are the children of Israel. We're children of Abraham. We are children of the promise. We are incorporated into that olive tree, the tree of life, which is the body of Christ Jesus. Okay, but anyway, that just gives you a little start of what I'm going to talk about. Hopefully, like I said, it's not going to be too long because I just basically wanted to tell you that I had a couple of vision. I had a vision last night, and I had a very interesting dream last night as well. But before I say that, this is going on 4:06. I don't know why I looked over at the clock, but I just did. Um, which kind of reminds me of what I want to talk about. My last video, out of the blue, I said, "Oh, I see 444." It was after as I was just getting ready the end my video, my last video, which I called, what did I call my last video? Angels on Headsets. And the reason why I called it Angels on Headsets, because like the angels were going, she's coming around the corner, delay, 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 as because the things in our life are not coincidence. God has always He orders our steps. So anyway, uh I was talking about how just before I finished it. This is 3 days ago. As I was finishing the video, I turned at the look at the clock for no apparent reason. I didn't. There's something in my head said, "Look at the clock." So I looked at the clock and turned around, and it said 444, and I made a mention of it. Hey, it says 444. Well, that means da 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 da. Well, the next day, the very next night, the very same thing happened again. Only I wasn't making a video. I was on the computer. I'd gotten up in the middle of the night, started listening to videos and da 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 da. And all of a sudden, I can't remember if either I was getting up to go to bed or something said, "Look at the clock," and I turned again, and it was 444 yet again. And I went, "Oh, is it, oh, I wonder if that's a coincidence." It's just as I was talking about in my last video. Is it really a coincidence, right? It happened a second time in a row. So I thought to myself, okay, well, if it's not a coincidence, if it's not a coincidence, I'll wait to see if it happens a third time. Okay? If this is a message from God and that's something I need to talk about, I will wait to see if it happens a third time. Well, guess what? it happened a third time. I'd gotten up. I wasn't even thinking about it. It completely slipped my mind. I wasn't thinking about it at all. I got up, I can't remember. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning. Got on the computer, was listening to some things, some I can't remember if I was even watching a movie. I can't even remember what was I doing. I was listening to a video. I was listening to I was watching a video about the Shrouded Turin. And near the middle of the video, I started getting really sleepy. Like all of a sudden, I had already several hours of sleep already because I went to bed early. I'd gotten up, so now I thought I was going to be bright and bushy-tailed. Within half an hour of watching the video, I began to get really, really drowsy. So while I was, so I had kind of thought, okay, well, I'm just going to sit back, then I'm just going to close my eyes and listen to this video. When I did that, I saw a vision. Um, I saw a vision, and this is what the vision was. I was, like I said, in between sleep and awake. So I have to say it was a vision because it wasn't open vision. It was a closed vision, and I was very close to sleep. And what I saw was, I guess it was a nighttime scene, and it was dark, and I saw, it was like something suddenly, bam, like the earth just kind of shook all at once, like a, like a I can't say it was an explosion because it wasn't an explosion. It was just like a bam, and I just saw the earth jump. Okay, that's what I saw. And then I looked up into the sky, and I saw the stars start to fall to the earth. Okay, this is I just saw. Look, this looked like all the stars were falling to the earth, but they were coming down in twos, like they were coming down in pairs as they were falling down to the earth. And so I've never seen anything like that. So I thought, oh, well, that's unusual. But it woke me up. Excuse me. Oh, I'm releasing something there. Anyway, it woke me up. And as I, all of a sudden, I was thinking to myself, oh, I've got to go to bed. So almost as soon as I had that vision, I got up and I turned. Of course, my bed's right next to the clock. I turned and because it's digital clock, you had to see the time. I turned and to get up, and it was 444 yet again. And I went, oh, that's the third time and third night in a row I saw 444. Third time in a row saw 444. And like I said, I was not all three times. I wasn't in my intention to turn and see the clock, and it so that it right. So make sure okay, what time is it now on my computer? My computer number is like this teeny weeny little number, and it's hardly that I even notice it's there. So it wasn't like I was actually going to, oh, it's getting close to 4:44. I better turn and look and see if I can see the clock. No, that was not that was not in my mind. All three times was a shock to me to turn and see the clock at 4:44. So then I looked up the meaning of 4:44. For me, for the number four is a comforting word number because it means four walls, peace and security. The whole the four walls of home. The four winds. Excuse me. Here it goes again. Oh, I feel like something's coming up as I'm talking. Okay. So, anyway, that's what at least to me, it means peace and security, the comforts of home. And in fact, and when I looked up the numbers and what it meant, it did say something like that. It meant something like trust and security, and good, it meant good things. But then there's another way of looking at it when I looked up the Hebrew meaning, and it meant becoming corrupt, the becoming of the corruption of the coming corruption. That's what it meant. Becoming corruption, corrupt, or becoming corruption. And so I thought, oh, three times I saw 444. So the coming corruption. The world is corrupt, and we know that that's. I mean, anybody can see that. But the more that we become peaceful, like I said in my last video, the more peaceful we become, the more corrupt and crazy the world becomes. Because when they're sending a curse to you and you reject it, you are set free from it, you're awoke from it, um, then it goes back to the one who sent it. So while we are becoming more peaceful and secure in Christ Jesus, they are becoming more chaotic. So the corruption and the chaos and the fear and the all the things that they had sent our way is going back towards on their heads, and it's becoming obvious that they're extremely corrupt, and the world can see it. But anyway, now that I've gotten that out, like I said, I don't. Hopefully, it won't be too long of a video because I do want to talk about this last dream I had this morning. Was really interesting. It was interesting. Um, I can't say I understand everything about it, but it was quite interesting. Oh, let me just tell you what the dream was. I don't recall how it started, but then I never remember. My dreams just kind of one dream and one vision, and next thing moves, just keep moves into one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. But then certain parts of my dream stand out to me, and this particular part of my dream stood out because it was something I never saw before. I was in ancient Israel, and I was. It was kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, if you will, in some forms. Um, I was standing on some kind of cliff or precipice of some sort, but there were some stairs that led down into. It looked like, like I said, it looked like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was like lots of sand and rocks, and it wasn't like I was in old Jerusalem. It was just like it was like an undiscovered area where some ancient uh, temple was an ancient temple under the sand kind of thing was being discovered. And so there was a woman and myself. We went down on these what looked like ancient steps. We went inside what looked like a cave, but inside we saw what was looked like an ancient structure. It had pillars and it was full of dust and dirt and it's like I said, like an Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of environment sort of thing. And in my heart, I knew what we were looking at. We were looking at Solomon's temple. Okay, but it was like covered up and it was just being discovered. It was like we were discovering the ancient ruins of Solomon's temple. Of course, we all know that the temple actually was on the Temple Mount, but in the dream, it was like it was being discovered, and we had discovered Solomon's temple. Now, how significant is that? Isn't that amazing? So while we were looking up, going, wow, this is amazing. I went back outside, went up those ancient stairs, and on top of this old ancient, underneath, on top of the temple of Solomon's temple was another building, and this was also an ancient artifact building. But I went inside, and when I went inside, because there was some kind of opening, it was not a correct. It wasn't like the grand opening of a building. It was like since it was derelict and dusty and falling down basically. It had a roof over it and it had some walls, but somehow I found myself in there and I was the only one in there. And I knew what it was. It was some kind of like an old ancient Christian church. Like from what came to my mind was the Byzantines. It was like a Byzantine church that was built on top of Solomon's old temple. Okay. And I was in there and I was barefoot. I don't know why I was barefoot, but I was barefoot and I was inside this temple of this Byzantine church built on top of Solomon's temple. And I was dancing around. It was all sand all over the floor. But I was dancing around and I was going, oh, this is so beautiful. I was so excited to be in there. I was like, I'm in here. I was like, and I was excited. And I was thinking this place was beautiful. It wasn't beautiful. It looked like like a derelict building, dusty and covered in dust and sand and stuff. But I was dancing around and spinning around and saying, oh, this is so beautiful. I was so excited that I was inside this Byzantine church on top of Solomon's temple. And as I was standing there, some other people had followed me into this building, and they were looking around too. So I wasn't alone at that particular. After a couple of moments, some people had followed me into this building, and they were looking around. And I was thinking to myself, the tourists are going to start coming here. The tourists, like this is, we have to open up this building. We have to open it up because people will start to come here. people will want to come inside. So we have to find the right door, because I knew that the way I came in was a dangerous entrance. It wasn't the correct entrance, how I got into the building. So I was thinking, and I said to the people who had showed up behind me, I said, we have to find the right entrance. And as I turned and looked at one corner, I can't tell you if it was north or south or east or west, but one corner of the building, I could see what looked like a door. But the door was bolted and it was blocked on the inside. It was looked like it was bolted and blocked from the inside, not the outside, from the inside. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, we've got to unblock that door so we can open the door so that the people can walk in from the right, from a safe entrance. They can come have a safe entrance to come inside. And then that's when I woke up. And then I thought, oh, that's after I had that dream. I went, oh, okay, well, that was an interesting dream. Interesting. Yeah, interesting dream. What that remind me of? Well, immediately began to think about the pillar, the third temple that's getting ready to be built on top of Solomon's temple. King Solomon, who is going to take home his bride, who Jesus is our King Solomon, and that this Byzantine temple, this Christian temple, that was built on top of King Solomon's temple. It was ancient, and but it needed to be cleaned out. That's what was going through my mind. We've got to clean out this temple. We've got to clean out this building so that when people come to visit, they have some place to come. But we have to come find a door. We have to open the door. So of course that reminded me, of course, of the Church of Philadelphia as well. It reminded me of King Solomon, and his all the things that he went through to build his temple, and his first temple, and then there was of course the second temple, but then we're the third temple that's being built. And I was so excited. I was inside, and I was spinning around in the sand going, oh, over here, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful. And now we got to find a door. We got to open the door. Isn't that amazing? And so that, of course, that reminds me of this Revelation 3:7. And the angel of the church of Philadelphia write, these things saith, he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it, for thou hast little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them which dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly, hold fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God. He shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is new to rich Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. And then, of course, the Song of Solomon, that also came to my mind. So I'm just going to read the first little bit of Song of Solomon. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. And this is, of course, the song of the bride and the bridegroom. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for his love is better than wine. And then they have this love fest between the two of them. He goes away after she doesn't get up and because she's worried about dirtying her feet. But anyway, he does. In the end, after she goes through a trial of searching for her bridegroom, um, and she goes through trials and tribulations, but she finds him again, and then they go off together on a honeymoon, and that is let's see, where do I find that? Well, I think that's right here they go off when the chariots come and get them. Song of Songs 6:12. Or ever I was aware, my soul made me like the chariots of Aminadab. Return, return, O Shulamite, return, return, that we may look upon thee. What will you see in the Shulamite? As it were a company of two armies. So I believe that is where he describes her as her temples being in Song of Solomon 6:7, As a piece of pomegranates are thy temples within thy locks. So, of course, it's talking about her temples. But then we are the temple, and the pomegranate represents wisdom. And that's what Solomon actually, the pillars in the Temple of Solomon were carved with pomegranates to represent fertility, but also fruitfulness and wisdom. Okay, and so we are the pillars in the temple. We are the ones crowned with wisdom, and also, of course, in Church of Philadelphia, we are told that we have a crown, and we're not to let any man steal our crown. And we are pillars in the temple. You also see the church in Revelation chapter 7 with the great multitude that is before the throne of God, and we are serving Him night and day in His temple. We are removed from our tribulation, which of course is what's promised to the church of Philadelphia. And Revelation 7:14, and I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest, and he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore they are before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. So that's us. And so it was kind of interesting. Like I said, a very interesting dream in which um, I saw the temple. It needed a little cleaning out, but the door was getting ready to be open as far as the dream was concerned. The dream was saying that we're getting ready to take up residency and we're going to clean out that temple. Who's going to purify the temple? When I've been telling you about the red heifer and about how the church, the bride, is the red heifer. I mean, you go into a home, who's mostly responsible, although I know that men are helping out more and more in the home these days. But traditionally and still to this day, women are the ones responsible for keeping the house clean. Okay, they're the ones who are concerned about the vacuuming and the dusting and the da 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 on a daily basis, making sure the kids are cleaned up and put their toys away and da da da. And dad's coming home from work, so make sure everything's cleaned up and ready for him when he comes home. That's the job of the bride. Okay, that's our job, and that's why we are the red heifer. Well, I didn't mean to wear red today, but here I am. I'm wearing red, and that was to show us that we are covered in the blood. Those who are going to hit without spot or wrinkle, the red heifer is described as being without spot or wrinkle, and we are the second Eve, and Christ's bride will be without spot or wrinkle, and we will be the ones responsible for keeping the temple clean. That's our job. Okay, we are ones bringing prayers to the Lord at the throne. That's our job. We have this intimacy with the relationship where the prayers of the saints come up and we are the ones praying on behalf of those left behind. That's our job. Jesus said his house will be a house of prayer. And that's what we'll be doing. We'll be keeping the house clean. We're doing some house cleaning. And so anyway, this dream, I think it was showing us that we're getting ready to take up residency in the third temple. Anyways, that's what I just came to me. Um, that was a spiritual God, like I said, talking about the beginning of my uh talking about a bit beginning of this video. God was showing me something that's getting ready to happen in the future. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video. I hope you have a great day. I made it short. God bless.